My childhood was special for many reasons, and one of those was that I spent almost every weekend and every holiday on the English coast. And when we weren't doing that, we were learning nautical skills, like doing sailing camp in Datchet Reservoir. Meanwhile, my dad is actually a certified skipper, a hobby he picked up a few years ago, which we can add to the lore to do with my father. Chef, sailor, comms director, what can't he do? I'm telling you all of this so you understand how important it is to me that Margot experiences the coast as well, because I might have learnt my bouginess growing up in London, but I learnt my hardiness and my love for the water from being on the coast. When my dad and his brothers sold their family home on the English Sea, my parents then bought an ex-B&B called the Old Mill, which they have slowly been restoring over the last 11 years. When they retire, they want to be in Devon full-time, but for now, for a few weeks of the year, we pile into the mill all together, and Margot gets to live her best life with her grandparents outside the bustle of city life. So welcome to Margot Mondays, episode 42, Devon edition. My husband Zach is working the whole time we're down here, but I'm literally living with my village, so it's actually okay. My brother comes back from travelling and joins us in a few days, but for now, it is my parents, Margot, and me. So first thing in the morning, we all piled into the car and headed to a National Trust site, because I think we can all agree that visiting a completely desolate National Trust site on a very rainy day is part of a formative experience of childhood. I think after having my brother and I, my parents were gently phobic of National Trust sites, or more specifically, overpriced afternoon teas, but their granddaughter has rekindled their love for many things, namely making an absolute wally of themselves in a Montessori playground, home in time for homemade bread and Margot's nap, when my mum surprised me and organised a massage for all of us, in part because I've recently been having such bad migraines that I've actually been vomiting, so she wanted me to have my neck sorted. When Margot woke up, she pretty much exclusively wanted to play with the handmade chest my grandpa made. His hobby is woodwork, moth collecting and painting, so he made this chest for Margot. He hand painted Margot's initials on it and a pearlescent rose because Margot is diminutive for pearl. For lunch, my parents made masoor dal and we had this mockingbird juice, which was very good. We topped the dal with fried halloumi and hot honey because obviously it's saf coated, and while we waited for the weather to blow over, we FaceTimed my brother and set about tidying the house, but to be honest, my parents have absorbed 99% of the housework since we've been down here. The food shopping, the laundry, the cooking, the cleaning, so it has been like unimaginably restful for us. Looking after my baby while getting to be someone else's baby. A few years ago, my mum bought a dilapidated flatbed truck with the idea of using it for beachside suppers. She had AstroTurf installed in the truck bed, which now means for evenings by the beach we can literally throw everything into the boot and head, including most of the kitchen sink and Margot's full high chair. Margot could spend hours on the beach. She honestly thrives here so much. She gets completely soaked through and will play with Zach and Daddy for hours, which means that I get to hide in a corner and read my book. These golden hours are always a highlight of our Devon summers. Oh, and Margot's learnt to flap like a birdie. We spend her whole wake window basically ragging around on the beach, having the time of our lives before we head back to the truck for drinks and nibbles. A cool bag full of treats, of course, and we basically bundle into the back of the truck with loads of blankets, although we do have to hide the crisps from Margot so that she eats her own supper. We also taught her to say beach moo. Beach moo! Beach moo! Beach moo! And she's learnt to do little air punches with it. Once her supper is finished, we all piled back into the car and headed home for bath and bed with the baby. My dad cooked and we had truffle potato, char-grilled courgettes, an absolutely incredible cut of bavette which we cooked in the rock box, with a side of sausages just because. We ate and drank and played games late into the evening, and that was Margot Mondays. Goodbye.